Committee, Tax. I need a motion to approve the minutes of February 22nd meeting. Ms. Wood, Rachel Seaver. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Okay. We're going to have the report from the treasurer first, because we're doing the tax part.
Good morning, everybody. I handed out the results. This is kind of a good news, bad news thing. First of all, if you'll notice, for the last 12-month period ending on April 19th, we're down almost 40% in collections. I think this is more a symptom of timing or collection than anything else, although I do probably, because of the bad winter, we're probably off some, but I don't think it's this much. Typically, we don't get our first quarter results until more towards the end of April, first part of May, so I'm hoping that it'll pick up a little bit there. Questions on that part of it?
So what do you think it's gonna be?
I think it's still gonna be down, but I'm hoping that it's only by, maybe 8 or 10% instead of 40%.
Shaking on? No. Took a hit. Ruined my budget, Michael.
As far as the 2015 year-end balance, second thing down there, we tapped the 4 million mark, 4.1 million, which was a total of 8% from the previous year. And if you go down the occupancy tax fund balance, you'll see that we ended up with a $2.8 million fund balance as of the end of 14. Actually, that should say the end of 15, sorry. And with $1 million that we're taking out for operational funds, that means we have a balance of 1.8 million.
Any questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, under the action agenda, we have the Civic Center Coalition. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hello, Elizabeth Mahoney's, I think she's on vacation with her family this week, so she couldn't attend. She get me, George Throne is part of our coalition, and Doug Kenyon as well. So they came with me today, so.
Morning.
I know Elizabeth submitted our report last week to the committee, so hopefully you all have it. And I think she was working on submitting all of last year's electronically as well. I'm not sure if she got that out or not, but I know she's working on it. So you all have last year's report. So officially we are asking for the $100,000 today. But I'll go over kind of what we've been doing the last few months. I think we were here at the end of January. So just a quick, brief recap. What's been going on at the Civic Center, what's going on next week, and then summer and fall. I know you all are busy today. We had the Foothills basketball, the boys and girls finals at the Civic Center early February. We had over 800 people attend that event. The annual stick game, it's a high school hockey game between Queensbury and what used to be Glens Falls. Now it's Glens Falls / Hudson Falls and South Glens Falls. We had 547 people attended. Section 2 wrestling, it's a pretty good weekend for us. It's a weekend event. 3,451 people attended for the two-day event. So that was a great event. We've done 2 of the smaller comedy shows since I last saw you. We had the Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce breakfast in early February. We've hosted a few of those in the last year. We were lucky enough to get the regional basketball tournament at the Civic Center. Originally it was scheduled for Saratoga High School. They thought, based upon the teams that were playing there, was too big for the gym, so they moved to the Civic Center. So it was unexpected, and we were lucky to get it. We had about 1,573 people showed up for that event. There was a couple games, so that was it wasn't budgeted, so it was a bonus. We were obviously happy to have that. We did what's called a Council for Prevention event at the Civic Center this year. First time we've hosted it. It's an event for troubled type teenagers to encourage them to make better decisions. There was a speaker, so it was kind of neat. It was in Heritage Hall and on the arena floor. So that was something new we did, and hopefully we'll get it back next year. They believe it went well, so we were happy as well. Certainly the state basketball finals were at the Civic Center again. About 16,000 people attended this year. I think it's a pretty solid number. If you followed it, you all knew Shenandoah lost in the semifinals. That really hurt our Sunday number. We probably lost, I would say 3,000 people didn't show up on Sunday because Shenandoah wasn't there. So we were obviously actively rooting for Shen that day. They lost in overtime. It was kind of a heartbreaker. But, it was, you know, like the last 35 years, it was a great event. Obviously, you know, Doug runs it, so, you know, we'll miss it next year. And, obviously, we have the Federation coming back next year, so we're excited for that. And we're already planning for that to make it a bigger event than it has been historically. But, you know, it was a typical, really good event. We hosted the JW Jucket Awards, which again is a chamber event. They honored Betty Little this year, the senator. We had 340 people down at Heritage Hall for a meal and a presentation. So it was, I'm not sure. I know a few of you were there. So it was pretty crazy as to how busy it was. So first time we've ever attempted that. So we did okay. We weren't perfect by any means, but we'll keep working to get better. The day after the basketball event, we had Yanmar, which is a commercial trucking company. They rented our arena for the day to do a sales presentation. Again, kind of worked in our schedule, so we got lucky to have them there. Vantage Point Church on Easter Sunday rented the arena for their church service. They had 25,000 plastic eggs on the ice for like an Easter egg hunt. So it was a pretty cool event. They had a service, and so it was neat. They've already signed a contract to come back next year. So that was kind of neat. And we'll try to work on something for Good Friday next year as well. But I'm not sure if anybody was there, but it was pretty cool, I thought. We did the White House annual fundraiser. The Adirondack Sportsman's Alliance was last week. And then last Wednesday, we had the Garden Brothers Circus came back to the Civic Center. They were there last October. We did about 1,600 people for 2 shows. Last Wednesday, we did 3,100 people. So it was a better show, and certainly, you know, the attendance was almost doubled. So that was a really good event. Upcoming, hopefully you all know the Thunder. They made the playoffs, and it's the first time since '94 they advanced in the playoffs to round 2. So May 3rd, 5th, and 7th, we have 3 home games. The 7th is, if necessary, Game 5, but we certainly expect to have Game 5 in Glens Falls. So the first round was great. Game 1, the crowd was pretty good, almost 3,000 people. Game 2 was on a Monday. It was less than 2,000, but for a weekday, it was clearly the best crowd they've had all year, and it was a pretty good atmosphere. So, you know, it's kind of bonus hockey for us. Again, the playoffs haven't been in Glens Falls since 2006. So round 294. So we're excited. They're excited. Hopefully there'll be some good crowds coming out. In between those 3 games, we have Justin Moore on May 6th, a country artist. And then after the Thunder games, we have the Glens Falls. The Dragons are hosting it's a small college World Series at East Field, and we're going to feed the 325 athletes that Sunday afternoon. So next week will be pretty busy down in Glens Falls. So we're excited about that. Upcoming summer, we do our 4 graduations. SUNY Adirondack, Queensbury, BOCES, and South Glens Falls will all be back. The Newsboys are at the Civic Center July 1st, Christian band. We recently announced September 30th, George Thorogood and Ed Gwiners will be at the Civic Center for, I guess, a night of rock. August, we're going to put the ice back in. We have what's called Overtime Hockey Camp. We're going to run about 100 hours of ice this August, and then AYHA, the youth group, is going to take some weekend ice. So I think it'd be a good way to keep the building active in August. We'll see how it goes, but we think we'll make a little bit of money on the event. Then we have a couple big shows that we're waiting to announce. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to announce them. But May 23rd, we'll announce a big show, which will be another summer event, like a family sports entertainment type show. So we're excited. We've been working on this show for about a year, so we're excited to finally be able to announce it soon. So that's kind of what's been going on. I can certainly answer any questions.
Any questions?
Federation
Yep.
tournament, how many people does that normally draw?
For, I think, originally maybe 6,000 to 8,000 people. It's kind of our goal. Yeah, it's less than the public school. Now, if we get a local Section 2 team that wins the state finals, you know, attendance will dramatically increase. I mean, if Glens Falls wins, you know, we're probably talking 10,000 people would be there, and they have a chance. You know, they have that great freshman. So, but we're going to work on it. You know, it's the first time we've only had the Federation. We've always had the state basketball and then the Federation the following weekend, which we believe hurt local people from coming, just because 2 weekends in a row is a lot to commit to. So, but we're going to work on it. We're going to try to make it, you know, the best Federation tournament that they've ever had. So, like I said, we're already starting the planning stages currently.
I think to add to the attendance, if I may,
Yeah.
Jeff, is the number of people who have verbally told us they will be coming to the Federation tournament in lieu of the public school tournament, particularly upstaters. There's a group of over 40 people from Oswego who've come since day 1, and they're adamant about coming to Glens Falls. The Jones boys, I'm sure you've read about them in the paper. Quite a crew, but they really help the downtown economy of Glens Falls, particularly But I think we'll see some people that we don't normally see in the Federation tournament, so I don't think it'll be a boon of people, but certainly I think we'll have more of those, discretionary fans, if you will, who aren't rooting for a particular team, so. We're glad about that.
Yeah, and the one thing is, the Sunday of the basketball tournament, there's a Hall of Fame brunch. I think it was about 360 people this year. They're not going to Binghamton. They're gonna stay in Glens Falls, which we think will, the Sunday of the Federation tournament, which we think will keep more people in Glens Falls as well. So, meaning that, and also the Hall of Fame will stay in Glens Falls.
All right, yes, Mr. Connor?
Yeah, just, do you have a sense yet of what, Civic Center program, what you need to get to that's sustainable, in terms of, I mean, do you have a you have some kind of measure on this? Is it, so many, days rented, if such and such a rent, we're at 60%. And the reason I say that is that obviously we're in for 3 years.
Yeah.
We're about halfway into it now, and I imagine a lot of your discussions must center on sustainability and what program. Where do you need to get to be sustainable? Can you just comment on that a little?
Yeah, we're starting, we're putting cash flow projections out for, the rest of this year and early the next year. So we're really starting to get into that now that we've had it for over a year. I've been there for about 10 months. So we're starting to get there as to know what we need to do long term, to be able to do it on our own. As we've said in the past, it's gonna be a little while, until we're self-sustainable. But we're getting there. I would say that the building is, between September and April, the building's used almost every night, for hockey, for adult hockey, for community hockey. We made a lot of progress, we know we've talked about this, we've saved a lot of money on our energy bills. It was $70,000 was the number that we saved last year, compared to the year before. It's on our utility, costs. That's pretty significant. But now, we're really turning to increased revenues. If the Thunder, if their attendance picks up a little bit next year, obviously that'll be a huge boom to us, and certainly them as well. We're not quite there as to what we need, and it's not always about number of events, but, we could put a huge event on, we could lose, $10,000 and, so there's a little bit of a risk there in putting on the big events. We're working on the cash flow, and hopefully by the next time we show up, we'll have a pretty good understanding as to where we're at after I've been there for a year.
All right, any other questions? Jeff, I guess we all have to say you guys are doing a great job. I think it's looking up, and we wish you a lot of success and keep this moving forward.
Thank you.
With the committee's approval, I'll have Jeff sign the voucher.
Yeah,
for
well,
the
let me approve it first, okay. But it's on the, we need a request to approve the next payment of the Civic Center for $100,000. Mr. Vanslo, Matt Simpson. Any questions? Yes?
Mr. Chairman, so this $100,000, is that part of what's already been allotted for
Yes,
them?
it's in the contract from this is the second year of the contract.
Yep.
So all the money's there and set aside, so. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now you can have him sign it.
Thank you.
All right, we need a quick, county administrator has the discussion on tax for invasive species. The, attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was asked to address the question of whether occupancy tax proceeds could be used to help eradicate invasive species. My understanding was that was for public lakes in the county. I've not addressed any private lakes within the county. And my answer is a resounding maybe. Here's how I got there. As you know, the text of our law does not specifically address whether occupancy tax monies can be used for anything apart from promoting and helping hold tourist activities. The law says the proceeds can be used to for purposes that are directly related to supporting activities, tourism activities. Now, as the agency that promulgated that law, we're given some latitude in interpreting what it means. The courts have held pretty generally that statutes designed to promote the public good will receive a liberal construction and be expounded in such a manner that they may, as far as possible, attain the end in view. So that gives us some justification for the end justifying the means. The end, I think it's fairly clear from this statute, is to help assist with the general economy in Warren County through tourism efforts. And Lake George, other public lakes within the county are certainly one of the centerpieces of that industry. Our guidelines allow for capital projects that will enhance existing resources. Certainly protection of the clarity and the cleanliness of the lakes is enhancement of existing resources. Now, all this comes down to, with no specific guidance in the law saying yes or no, you can or can't do it, we're always subject to a challenge if we decide to use occupancy tax monies to support eradication of invasive species. You get deference as a legislative body that created the law. You get deference as a legislative body in how you want to interpret that law. Although there is some risk, my guidance at this point would be to do, through your democratic process, what you believe is the right thing, and then I will defend it if need be. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions, Ms. Dickinson?
Who asked you?
I don't recall. I believe it was the,
I think it was me.
came through the,
No, I think it was I think it was you, Dennis.
It was you, Dennis.
About 2 meetings ago, yes, I think it was you that questioned it.
Brian, I asked you about a month ago or something, because we were trying to figure out some things that I think I might have asked, but Dennis, if you asked too, then that's great.
Dennis on the same page?
No, Dennis is already retracting that, so.
All right, so no other questions on that right now, we'll move forward, yes.
One question, I
Real
mean,
quick.
there's precedent, I mean, we did spend $500,000 of tax money a few years ago.
Yeah, we have spent it, that's why the question I think came up.
Yeah, with precedent, Brian, is there, I mean,
We have spent money on it.
that was not challenged by anybody that I know of.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The fact that we've done it before and not been, in so many words, apprehended, although maybe guidance for us, it certainly wouldn't bind anyone who chose to challenge it if at this point they did.
I mean, we were told that was a one-time shot back then.
Okay, all right, the next pressing thing that we have is, as you all know, the chill was a big concert scheduled for Warren County. They canceled it, and now Improv, you all should have got the contract from Improv. It was emailed out to you. The same people that were running this are gonna put on another concert. I had some correspondence with a couple of people, and you all got an email stating some of the situation. Now, in the email, I guess I gotta say it out front here, list of names that might be at that concert were on there, and we were requested by Improv just to, the contracts are not signed yet, so just like they just said from Civic Center, can't tell you who's gonna be here yet. But, first, we have to approve, I got a letter from Mayor Blaze, and he's requesting that we had already authorized 15,000 for that, the chill. He's requesting that, we continue and roll it over to this group, to keep them going. They did request 20,000, so that's strictly up to this board here if you wanna move up the other 5. But I support it highly, and I think through the people I've talked to, I think it'll be a great, event here in Warren County. Yes, Ms.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, I heard your hand.
No, I was just gonna make the motion that, we move the 15,000 that was originally gonna go to the chill to Improv Records for their event.
Okay, 'cause, you got the contract, 'cause, Lake George already is, committed money, and so is the Village of Lake George committed money to it, so you're making a motion, we just moved the 15,000 that was allotted. Mr. Dennis, yeah, keep wanting to call you Dennis.
Mr. Dennis?
Mr. Simpson, you second it?
Yes.
All right, any other discussion on it, any other questions? Mr. Dickinson now.
The joint town and village, gave money, the town has, given them money.
All right.
I'd like to see it bumped up. They have a pretty, stiff, list of entertainment they wanna bring. There's a couple really big man.
Well, is there any discussion on that? Because we have a motion and a second.
I
Ms. Wood?
understand Supervisor Dickinson wants to bump it up, but I guess I'd ask, where are we getting the extra 5,000 from? This is for 2016, so are we
Right.
taking out of 2016's money, and does that,
We have
is
that.
that really fair to the people who haven't applied yet for the 2016 money to already be reducing it? I guess that would be the only discomfort I necessarily had with that.
Well, we have that, we could take it out of the reserve fund.
But that's why I was kinda wondering where this,
Yeah.
where this
Well,
extra
first we gotta get
5,000
yeah.
We have 15 already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that, I'm just wondering where the extra
Being
5 was
another
coming
extra
from.
It could come out of the reserve. As you heard, we have a, substantial
Okay.
reserve. But that's up to this board here. We have a motion and a second. Any other,
Well, what's the usual protocol on this when requests come in?
well, normally what we do, the requests come in like, for most people, most of the things around October
Yep.
and November, and we hand out the money in December. Then we keep a certain amount on the side for some others that come in for the year. I don't have the number in front of me. Ron, you remember what the bottom line was for that reserve?
No, that's,
Well,
most of the
number
money
right
is allocated in December.
yeah,
Right.
it's
But
allocated in December, but there's
The committee's always been open to,
there's two parts there. One is the county's allocation.
Right.
And with it you could utilize, and then there is a
discretionary.
discretionary,
That's the one
term I would use, pot that any municipality could go to for additional dollars. The dollar amounts slip me right now.
I didn't bring it with me.
I thought it was 175.
175, does that sound right?
In the discretionary, there's 50, I believe, this year, and we haven't hardly touched it, so we could take the 5,000 out of there.
Leave it I was gonna say it's at least 50.
I would rather personally take it out of there, and then if we had something else come up
Yeah.
during the year, we could always go back to
Discretionary.
our surplus.
My concern is that when the Chill came in to talk to us with a very aggressive campaign, and they asked for considerably more than we gave them,
Right.
but then they changed it, and I guess they moved it down to Pennsylvania someplace, or at least someplace else. So we allocated them 15, I just wanna be fair here, I mean, we didn't allocate them 20, we allocated them 15. And they were gonna offer something, there was gonna be at several different stations in the village and town, and it was very aggressive. And I don't think it was a lack of money that we offered them that made them change their minds, as they found a better venue. But, for the sake of being fair, and nobody is here to the Improv. I got the email, and yes, I get it, and it looks great. And I know we got the 15,000 without reaching anymore, so, anyway. It was, just
All right.
think it out loud.
Well, you read because the village is giving them 20, and the town's giving them 12, so 15 on top of that, it's a good size for a group. The mayor sent me a letter and requested 15, so the 15's in the mayor's suggestion, the 20 is in their application. So that's just, if you wanna stay with the 15, Ron, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just would comment that, I very much like the time of the year. Am I reading this correctly? It says September 30th to October 1st.
Yeah.
And, it would be really nice to develop a major activity during that time of the year, particularly when you look at all the investment going on right now in the village, in terms of not only new but existing facilities. As you know, that's times of the year, there are things after Labor Day when things start to not be as busy, and yet the weather can be very nice that time of the year. So, I do like the time of the year that it's being, and I would hope, another thing I like about it is it looks like it's something that if it's successful could be a recurring event.
All right, Ron, and then one other thing, I'm not that I'm pushing, I mean, I have the email right here, I don't know if you all read it. He's offering a, free entrance to the festival, if you stay 2 nights in any hotel in Warren County. So, I mean, that's, oh, I'm not supposed to say that? Oh, sorry. Didn't say not to say that, said not to name the people.
That was his thing.
Oh, did it
Okay.
say that too?
But I mean, I think he's trying hard to get a group in there and trying to get this thing going. I mean, so I'm gonna leave it up to, you know, you people to decide. Dennis?
Well, I think the town and the village of Lake George have shown their
Yeah.
interest in this. I mean, he is a known entity, this guy. He's not a one-time eventer. This is his business and his livelihood. He's got a lot of connections. We're really enthusiastic about it. I would like to see it bumped up. The mayor is not the beginning and the end of the town of Lake George, I can tell you that. I would, I split the difference to say 17.5. I'd like this guy to have a chance to show us what he can do.
Any other comment? Yes.
On these budgets, so 20,000's thrown out, is that substantiated, is it,
Yeah, he has all the information in there. I'll tell you, one of the problems is, and this has happened over and over again, the cost of entertainment has skyrocketed in the last 3 years. I'll give you a good example, the Lake George Arts Project, which brings in events for 18 years, came to the board a couple of weeks ago. They are unable to get the quality events that they've been getting with the money that we've given them. And we've upped the ante for them. It's just a fact of life. If you're gonna get good quality entertainment, you have to pay for it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I also think, that, you know, almost 60%, so 58% of the tax money comes out of the village, and with these hotel projects that are underway, I might add, we also have, as you know, Blue Water Manor being significantly improved for a year-round facility in Bolton, that, if the village and the town could be successful with this during this period of time on a recurring basis, it would be a significant expansion of our season and our economic activity. You just give people more reason to come and fill that brand new hotel, not to mention the ones that are being improved, so I think strategically, I think it's a good thing to be doing as well. Otherwise, I mean, things slide off and it's very soft after Labor Day, and they will come back on weekends to a degree when the weather's not fine. You know, Mr. Chairman, better than anyone, what I speak, so I think there are a number of reasons to want to really support this at the higher level, I think.
All right. So to move this along, because we have a big tourism part too, is there any other comments be made? So now I have to ask Mr. Stroud, you can remove your motion and the second, or we'll leave it at what it is.
I'm comfortable with my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
No.
3? Do I hear 3? So it passed it.
4.
Huh? 4?
Yes,
All right, let's show, everybody in favor, let's show a hand. Let's do it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So it passed at 15,000, that's what we're gonna get. All right, moving along.
I'd like to make
Yes.
one more comment. John, to your comment about the chill, that was a tremendous event, and that was a serious shortfall on our part. It is a proven event and would have been a real asset for the community, and it all collapsed because of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation unable to respond to their request to have camping on their property.
Yeah, well, my way of looking at this, Dennis, is that with the bed tax or occupancy tax funding, we're looking at $47,000 versus $52. I mean, $47,000 is a lot of money. I think that should be enough to get this thing going, but
I wasn't commenting to that point, I was commenting
no,
to the point about the chili. I don't think we wanna get started on that,
All right.
on that road.
Let's move along, thank you, Mr. All right, privilege of the floor, anybody have any other discussion about the tax? Under all business, there's nothing pending, so we'll adjourn from the tax and move right into the tourism. All right, so we'll have, action, by Joanne on the agenda.
Asking Joanne, is that your name?
On the agenda. Okay, so the first resolution request, I would like to attend the Isle of New York Tourism Conference up in the Thousand Islands next week. And, each time the rate at a hotel is more than the GSA, we have to come back to the committee. And, all of the events are taking place at the host hotel, so I would like to stay at the host hotel, even though it's above GSA.
You know, Gene, this is a reoccurring thing here. I think we need to reword that,
Didn't we do that, Ron? Excuse me.
We did.
No, it was just for Tanya.
Oh, it's for me. I thought we did it.
Yeah,
I apologize.
go ahead.
I thought that we did it across the board, that we changed the way that those travel requests are coming through, so on the request now, you can just check that it's above GSA rate and the whole thing gets approved together.
I believe that's correct. The application was, that they send through the committee structure, if it's above GSA, you just check the appropriate box. I don't know if there's anyone here to.
I thought it was just because Tanya put it through, but if we did, that's great, I mean,
So if we approve, that's my understanding.
all right,
but I
so then
can't say to absolute certainty.
well, I would make a motion that we approve this for Joanne
and look into it for the
and
next
I'd
meeting.
like,
Is that all right? Okay, so, we have a motion to approve it, a second by Ms. Wood, and, the comment is we'll look for the next meeting, we'll have an answer if we've.
well, if you're going to an event and there's a host hotel, I think that should be the primary.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. All right, the second one?
The Lake George Regional Chamber of Commerce from CVB, is requesting some funding to operate the Exit 17 Information Center. So we had given them funding in the past, and they believed that would be a recurring funding item, and it's not. So we need to consider that again. And the previous, resolution is attached to your agenda. Gary is here representing the Chamber of Commerce today if, people have questions about that. It's not an entity that is making revenue. They do sell, there's an electronic swipe board, you can pay to have your brochure distributed, but it's not a money-making venture. So if we want to welcome people coming into the county, the thought is that we should support the information center.
Now, this started back in 2013, that we offered them, we allowed them, they asked for $25,000 to get that Exit 17 tourism going, center going. We authorized 2 years, but 1 year also a rollover that they can get. Now, they're back asking to keep going on that 25. Personally, I think it's a great use of money. The state now is putting $1 million into that, building to get it, upgraded and new bathrooms and better looking facility for tourism. So, but these are like we had about 2 months ago with the Balloon Festival. When we do things like this, most of these organizations feel, well, it's a rolling thing, but they do have to apply every year. So now they're applying again for this year, and it's up to.
So do we wanna do it year to year to year, or do we?
That's the way you should do it. You know, when if you read this resolution from 2013, and I read it, so I didn't get into trouble like I did the last month's meeting that I forgot what we did 3 years ago, but it was a 2-year deal with a 1-year renewal. Now, this is again, now we have to start all over again. 3 years is over. This is for this year.
Well, I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Dennis. Stroud?
That motion.
Okay. And I think it's a great idea to use tourism money. I mean, it just, but we can end it next year or the year after or whatever, but I think they need a jump start. I was just at their open house last week, and it was impressive. And I don't know how, I'm not a technology guy, and all of yous know that, but they had this thing, you just run your hand down and swipe it, and it just pops up hotels and places to eat, and you can hit it and move it to your little phones and bring it with you. So I think they're really trying hard, and that stuff's not cheap, so you know, but that's just my opinion. So we have a motion and a second. Any other comments, Ms. Seaver?
Where does that, like, we just had that discussion about where the money would come from for the previous resolution, so it comes from that same, sorry, Dennis is ahead of us. From the reserve?
Right, it says, wait, last sentence, it come out of A881100 reserve.
That's that $1
occupancy
million
tax.
fund, the reserve?
That's the reserve.
And do they submit for the same, I mean, obviously I wasn't, if I was here, I didn't catch this, not being on the committee, but do they submit for the same expenses each time? I mean, it must change,
No,
right?
it'll change, yeah, that'll change each year.
So, Mr.
Mr.
Chairman, on those expenses, if there's furnishings here, carpet,
Right.
additional, how does that fit in with a whole renovation?
They're not
How many-
renovating our part of the building, they're only renovating the other part of the building. Our part is our own renovation that we have to do for the actual information office that's there. They're not touching our inside, they're just doing the outside and they're enclosing that walk-in area as far as the $1 million goes, so they're not renovating.
So our part doesn't get touched at all?
No, that's on us.
I thought I was part of it.
New restrooms, I think.
No, it's all new restrooms, that's the
Oh, yeah,
biggest
new
expense.
restrooms. They're enclosing, there's a walk-through like
Yeah.
kind of area out that they're enclosing and new restrooms and all, but they're not touching the inside of the information part that we submit.
Okay.
It was an Adirondack carpet. It was really quite nice. There were a number of us that went down for the information center open house, so if you haven't been there, you should stop in. But it was very welcoming. It had that Adirondack-y feel when you walked in the door, and a couple of chairs there, and the little Adirondack carpet. It was really quite nice.
So this is for what's already been spent?
Some of it has.
Right, as we go forward, the point is we will be staffing it more as it's a better facility. We hope to staff it, every day of the year. So I mean, that's really the part that is the most expensive part of that is keeping people down there so that when people stop in, we have a person to talk to. And that's so important, these information centers, to have an actual person there. You see so many along the roadways where all there is brochures to pick up, and where I was looking to really find out about the area. We get a lot of people that are just traveling through, they're gonna be coming back to the Lake George region, that aren't even coming to the Lake George region, but they're stopping at that rest area on their way someplace else, and those are the ones we want. But the new visitors, that rest area with its location, you sort of think, well, people are coming to Lake George anyhow. Well, the majority aren't. The majority are going to different locations, but they stop there, they find out about us, they find out about the region, so that's why it's such a crucial part of the economic picture for tourism. So, I mean, we wanna expand, we wanna do more, we wanna have staffing there as much as possible, and really make it a kind of a less of an information center, more of a gateway center, a welcome center kind of.
Adirondack shag.
I think that's right.
I was there
Like
to see,
embroidery.
and I have to admit that, Mike, from the chamber, in Lake George has really done a wonderful job of cleaning it up, making it look more attractive and welcoming, and it truly is, it is the gateway. I mean, exit 18, from Albany, it's a long drive, and, it's an excellent pit stop. So, for all of us, that opens the door, and, this, center is cleaned up, dressed up, painted, it looks great.
And the county did run this center way back.
Way back
many,
when,
many
yeah.
years. The county did run this center, and it is, they can vouch, it's very expensive to run this as far as staffing, as far as what's involved.
Mr. Conover?
Why isn't, let me ask you this way, can we bring this into the contract we already have? Not this year, I understand, but we already have a contract for services, correct?
Mhm.
With the chamber. So this would be a second contract, if you will, allocation. It would seem to me going forward that we should at least think about merging the two. This is going to be a recurring kind of thing, and that way we could balance these costs against the other costs that we're looking to be involved with.
If you remember, that contract you're talking about, it's a bidded contract, and they bidded it last year, and they wanted $160,000, and we had told them, you're already getting 25. you know, so that's why I went down to 140. And that's to carry Christina and all the stuff that they do too,
Well,
so.
Maybe
but-
that's why it's a separate contract.
That's why it was at that time, okay. So, I mean, next year, it could be
It's just a thought.
incorporated.
I mean, there may be good reasons why we wanna keep this separate, I don't know.
All right, any other questions?
Dean, just so you know, the town of Queensbury, I think, gave 16,000 too, the last couple of years.
Yes, down Queensbury's also been
Yeah.
part of this as well.
All right, any other, oops, sorry.
It is located in Queensbury, so that's why the town was, certainly fine with that.
All right, any other questions? Yes,
Just one on the,
go ahead.
on the internet access, $5,000, that's $416 a month. Is that a lot for internet access?
That remote location, it's difficult to get it in there, that's the issue. I can look at that and see, but yeah, it's more expensive there than it would be at like any other kind of office building. Because of the location is what I understand.
But once you have a wire there.
Well, I have to find out, I think it's Time Warner that's in there, but I'm not positive. And we also need the access for that Explorer board that we have there, with the
Yeah.
touch screen and all, so.
And
I can see
it's
what
also phone
speeds
too,
we're
so.
getting there, but it could be we need more bandwidth. I don't know the details, so I can't really comment on that, but we could certainly look at that.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed, thank you. All right, privilege of the floor to any other additional discussion? None. The pending items, we're really moving along with that, BB&G. I don't know if you wanna talk about it, you wanna?
I've spoken with Deborah Gary, who's the principal of BBG&G, several times on the phone. Peter and I conferenced with her last week, and we have provided volumes of information, Smith travel reports, occupancy, sales tax collections, tax collections, a long list of things. So she's taking some time to review all of that. She will be here in the county. She's gonna stop in the office on May 6th, which is a Friday. She and I are both at that New York State conference during the early part of the week. So at that time, she'll do a little internal intake within the office. And she did send me a timeline as to how things would roll out over the course of the summer. Certainly some meetings with stakeholders. She's got a pretty aggressive timeline laid out for us. And she does understand that she would be working with us on that part two for the data collection that maybe is a little bit beyond the scope of what she is going to provide to us. So things are moving along, and we'll report back a little bit maybe at the next meeting. Peter is on vacation this week, and he usually does the nice, display board. So we would like to have you come back in May and show you what's been going on in the office. We hope to have a new website launched, or at least a preview of it for you by then. We have a new television commercial. We have a new campaign that we're running throughout the summer in our print, digital, and social media. And we're really excited about these things, and we want to show you, and really, because we have some new members on the board, and we're trying some new things, a lot of what we've been talking about is the RFP and working through that. But we want to let you know what we're doing in the tourism department. So we'll hope to see you here in May, and we'll give you a little kind of a show and tell of what's going on and how we're working to promote the area.
And I know over meetings, I've asked everybody on this committee especially to get your email address downstairs, because you get stuff like this in the email on things that they're blasting out, on different promotions they're doing. And this comes out once a month or so, maybe sometimes twice. So you get an idea of some of the stuff that's going on downstairs, but we gotta have your email address. All right, anything else come before this committee? Motion adjourned? Okay, so we're adjourned. Thank you all, appreciate it.